It is a sunny day. The birds are singing. The sky is blue. Only a few white fluffy clouds break up the sky. The temperature is moderate. There's a light breeze that's coming through the grass, through the rolling hillsides. By almost anyone's objective standards, today is a beautiful day in the Kingdom of Alsan. Gamorg, you are riding in a cart next to a small halfling man that you have met a couple days before. You're on the job currently, escorting a shipment of goods from the coastal city of Fluross through into the province of Quinth to the town of Drucaster. You don't know what you're transporting. That's not your business. You're there to provide the muscle. You are not driving the cart. The cart is being driven by the halfling who sits at your side, who you met just a couple days before and introduced himself only as Cricket. He has proven to be a pleasant enough traveling companion, although perhaps not as talkative as you would have liked, as you do enjoy some banter. It's been 2 days of travel so far, and you are expecting to make your way to Drucaster here in the evening. The day is ahead of you, and Gamorg, what would you like to do with your day of travel?
Got a knife. I'm just kind of whittling a little piece of wood and enjoying the scenery and the blue sky and everything.
Yeah. Every once in a while, Cricket kind of gives a little eye over to, and finally he's kind of like, so what are you working on?
Oh, this. Well, it was gonna be an elephant, but it's really skinny, so I don't think I'm gonna do an elephant. I'm thinking maybe like a fish. So if I can carve this part out right here, it'll look kind of like a fin, and then I can put some gills on it, and yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
All right. Gives the horses another giddy up with the reins, wagging lurches a little bit as he does so. Again, friendly, but the conversations tend to die off pretty quick with Cricket.
As I'm whittling, I'm just kind of like glancing up around the landscape just to make sure that nothing seems out of place.
Sounds good. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Perception. Not very high. Let's see here. Perception, that's a 5.
A 5, okay. So this evolution of elephant to fish in your wood carving is very consuming, and unfortunately takes your attention perhaps more than it should have. In fact, at one point, you hear Cricket be like, "Good day," and you look up and realize you're passing some travelers on the road coming the other direction, and you hadn't even realized it. You get the idea that you might want to be a little more vigilant as you go along.
I look up when I hear that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, yep.
Uh-huh.
Keeping an eye out.
Sure you did. Just have the bigger knife ready if something were to happen.
Oh no, don't worry, it's ready.
All right. Most of the day passes without any real incident. You do pass a couple other travelers along the road, and the weather itself remains nice. The road, while not one of the newer kind of constructed roads that the kingdom has said to have been working on, it's a well-worn path that provides easy enough passage. You break for lunch, let the horses get rest and feed, have some food yourself, and then, unless there's anything you'd like to be doing during lunchtime, you continue along your way.
I think I just hang out with Cricket and try to make some conversation.
Okay. Just for the fun of it, go ahead and roll just a straight charisma check for me.
Okay. Oh no. let's get all these low rolls out of the way now. Charisma would be, that's a 5.
A 5 again. Okay. There's a lot of talking, but it's very one-sided as you go off into random conversation about this and that, trying to be friendly, probably coming off as a little bit more of a jabberjaw than you would have liked. And Cricket gives some very, just obligatory, like, type answers to you. So.
Classic Cricket.
Classic Cricket. The rest of your afternoon goes by. It's beginning to get dusk, and Cricket is starting to get a little more talkative as you begin to talk about the fact that you are coming up on Drucaster, and what tavern might you stay at that night, and what do you have plans for the next day, and so some general banter and conversation has begun. Are you still keeping a wary eye out?
Yes.
Okay, I will say at this point, go ahead and make another perception check for me.
Okay. Jeez, that's a 3.
You're going along and having conversation, and you do, as the sun is starting to get low and it's starting to get that kind of magic hour, not quite to the point where you feel like you need to light a torch or something like that yet, but we're getting there. You do crest a hill and do see just the little pinpoints of roofs and little lights from the town of Drucaster, and you're within 30 minutes now of reaching the town proper. What is your armor class?
It is 13.
A 13. Okay. You are going along, and there's all of a sudden a very sharp pain in your right shoulder. And you suffer 4 points of piercing damage. And it's almost that thing where you feel something twinge you, and you're like, what the? Like, did a bug or what? Yeah. And you look, and there's an arrow that is sticking out of your shoulder.
I'm gonna look and see if I can see anything in the direction it came from.
Okay, make a perception check for me.
That would be 12.
A 12. All right. You look, and you do not see anything. Whoever shot this arrow at you, they've been able to duck out of the way and hide. Cricket notices this as well, and he immediately springs into action. He begins whipping the horses and driving the cart forward faster, and he yells out to you, "Are you all right?"
Yeah, I'm fine. I break the arrow off so it's not sticking out.
You do begin to see little pops of movement. There's a couple coming from one side of you and a couple coming from the other, and it's hard to see anything other than little silhouettes, but you hear little pops of movement, and then you hear the whistle of arrows that are continuing to spring towards you. So, you get stuck with a second arrow, which deals 6 points of piercing damage, and Cricket, let's see here, Cricket gets hit as well, and he takes 7.
I'm gonna grab one of my hand axes.
Okay.
And just see if there's anybody that's close enough that I could throw it.
There are 1 or 2 of these assailants who would be within the long range of it, so you'd roll a disadvantage.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and attack one of them.
Okay, so disadvantage on that strike.
It's not gonna be. Nope. The worst was a natural 1. So.
Okay, nope, that does not hit. So you throw the axe and it just, and you don't even see where it lands. Everything's moving too fast. The cart's going.
Okay, I think at this point I am going to jump down.
Okay. Go ahead and make an acrobatics or athletics check to leap off the cart and maintain your footing.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Boom! You, 3-point landing, superhero style, double-bladed scimitar in hand, land, and you do not even lose any movement. You are, at this point, I'm going to say, about 50 feet away from the closest shape that is knocking another arrow for you. The wagon is moving away from you. Cricket did not stop when you jumped off. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna run. My movement's, it's only 20. No, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sorry. It is 30 feet. So yep. I'm gonna run as far as I can.
Popping up over a small boulder from the side of the road, you see the green twisted features of a small goblin that is pulling another arrow back and getting ready to fire in your direction.
I think I'm going to go ahead and dash.
Okay.
So that I can at least get in, so he would not be able to hit me very well with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, so you can dash all the way up to melee range with him.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Okay, he's going to attempt to still fire off that arrow. He was already knocking it, but it will be a disadvantage. That is, however, an 18 to hit. So the arrow kind of comes out and still sticks you right in the leg. You take 7 points of piercing damage. And 2 more arrows come flying at you from other goblins that were hidden in different spots. The first one misses with a 7. The next one, I believe, hits with a 20. But only a 1 on damage, so 3 more points of piercing damage as another arrow sticks you in the side, and you are now being pin-cushioned by these goblins. You look, as they shoot you, you do look, and all of them are within, like, 20 feet of you. There's one that's a little bit past you, hidden behind another rock, and then one opposite side of the road.
I'm going to go ahead and swipe at the guy with my scimitar.
Okay.
And that is a 20 to hit.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
That's 6 points of slashing damage.
Okay. Boom, boom. 2 cuts go into him from your double-bladed scimitar. It almost drops him. This goblin is now, like, one arm is almost, like, completely useless at this point, and it's staggering back bloodied.
I think I'm going to go ahead and do my action surge, because if I get hit 3 times again, that's not going to be good. So action surge, I'm going to go ahead and hit him again.
There you go.
Another 20 to hit.
That hits. Roll damage.
And that will be 8 points of slashing damage.
All right. With that, you cleave into the goblin with the other side of your blade and drop that one, while the other 2 begin knocking their second arrows ready for you.
Do I have any movement?
You do. You haven't taken any yet, so you can move up into range with one of them.
Yeah, I'm going to go to melee range with the closest one.
Okay, so that would be the one that's on this side of the road, but just like another 10 feet past. He'll see you coming. He'll pull his scimitar instead of his bow. A 14, does that hit?
That hits.
That does hit. Okay, so you take 6 points of slashing damage. And then the one with the short bow, can you roll a perception check for me real quick?
16.
Okay. He ducks behind something, and you don't quite see where he goes, and all of a sudden an arrow comes flying out of somewhere. That is, with advantage from hiding, a 21 to hit.
That hits.
So you take 5 more points of piercing damage.
I'm going to go ahead and attack the one that I'm standing next to.
Okay.
That's 21 to hit.
That hits. Roll damage.
Come on, damage. Give me something better this time. All right. That's 9 points of slashing damage.
9. Boom! You take the head clean off with one strike. Even as you're turning to look at the other one, you just use that momentum to decapitate the first goblin, and he is gone.
Sweet. And then I can get over to the other one?
Yeah, he's within 20 feet, so, with your 30 feet of movement, for sure, you can get there.
So I'm going to run to that guy, and then I'm going to use my second wind. I hate to burn up all these things, but
okay.
So I can get some health back.
Okay, so that's 1d10, I believe, plus your level?
1d10 plus 4, yeah. So that's 10 points of damage.
Nice.
Or of HP back.
All right, so you psych yourself up and get that second wind. He will pull his sword as he sees you approaching and take a swipe at you with his scimitar. That is a 13 to hit.
I'm 13. My armor class is 13.
So it just hits.
Yep.
So you take 4 points of slashing damage from his scimitars. You run up, and he kind of sneakily pulls it out at the last second and catches you across the midsection. He is then going to take the disengage action with his bonus action. He moves a full 30 feet away from you in a direction, interestingly enough, towards the town.
Okay. I'm going to let him go, and I'm going to run back towards the wagon. Yeah, and then I'm going to dash, too, so I can just get as far as I possibly can.
I would say at this point, in a foot race, it would be pretty much even. He's not going to try and pull a bow and shoot that while he's running. And he's kind of careening off another direction anyway, and eventually you actually just lose him. You run for about a minute, and you come up over another one of these little rolling hills, and you see pulled off to the side of the trail just a little bit is the cart. Cricket is sitting in it. He has a small crossbow kind of crooked up into his arm, and as he sees you come up over the top, he almost looses a bolt at you, but kind of realizes who it is at the last minute. You're a little taller than some of these goblins that have been attacking, but it seems as if he's actually decided to wait for you.
If I run up to him and
Are you all right?
Hop up on the wagon again. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm pretty beat up, but I killed 2 of them and one of them ran away. I don't know where those guys came from.
How beat up are you?
I'm pretty hurt.
Okay. He reaches into a little pack that he's got on his side, and he pulls out this little glass vial with this red, familiar liquid to it. It's not something you see often, but he shoves it into your hands like, drink this. And that is a potion of healing.
That is not that much, but I'll take it.
All right. Some of it spills as you go to chug it, and you don't get the full effect. All right. So Cricket kind of stows the crossbow away and gets the horses moving again. Did you see any more of them?
I didn't see any more. No, just the one that ran off.
Can you see what's going on up there? And he kind of gestures towards the town.
Can I see anything?
Roll a perception check.
Not that again. That's another 5.
Oh my gosh. You can't make out any specific details. You are beginning to hear commotion, very faint commotion. And if you look really hard, you see some quick moving figures, maybe people running. Hard to tell at this distance.
I can't make it out, but maybe we should head that way and just see what's going on.
If we head that way, are we not, and there is trouble, are we not going to get right in the middle of it?
Well, if we could get a little closer, maybe we could figure it out.
Very well. He continues on down the trail. As
we're moving a little bit more, I'm like, hey, you don't have any more of those little potions, do you?
No, that was the only one I had.
All right.
What's the play here?
I think maybe we should take the wagon just slightly off the road a little bit, so we're not just coming right up through the middle of the town. Just so we can kind of get closer and make sure there's nothing crazy that we're riding into here.
Do you think it's possible for the wagon?
I think as long as we don't get too far off the road, we should be okay.
Cricket pulls the reins and leads you off to the right side a little bit, begins to take you off the beaten trail, and almost immediately it is a much rougher, slower journey. I would like you to roll a perception check with disadvantage, please.
Okay, that's not good. Okay, not too bad. 14.
14, okay. You're going along for a ways, and you do manage to get yourself, off into a bit of a wide swing, and are starting to go up a little bit. Again, not a crazy amount, but, after about 5-10 minutes of travel, that what was becoming an eye level look at the town is now becoming looking down on the town just a little bit. With a 14, you do all of a sudden hear a very slight cracking of wood sound.
Okay. Stop. I think I heard a little bit of a crack. And I'm going to jump down and check the wheels.
Okay. You inspect the wheel, and you do notice that on the front right wheel, this hilly terrain has caused an ever so slight crack in the wheel to begin.
Okay. So here's the deal. I think off-road is not a good idea, after all. Maybe we should get back on the road.
I feel better knowing what's going on down in the town.
That's true. Do we have, from this vantage point, do we have a little bit better view of what's going on?
Roll a perception check.
It's unbelievable.
What'd you get? 3? Oh my gosh. So from where you're at, you look and you can't really get a good vision. Cricket is going to kind of pop up and look around as well. Well, he rolls a natural 20. So
sweet.
So he has all your luck right now. He kind of stands up on the cart and gets literally that extra 6 inches of vantage point. and then all of a sudden grabs your shoulder and becomes, up, take a look.
Can I see anything?
So you pop up onto the cart, and his little halfling hand, he kind of points out, and you look, and those bits of movement, you're now close, a little bit closer to the town, and you see running figures, and you see kind of looking through an alleyway. Again, pretty good distance from the town, but looking through an alleyway backlit by torchlight, you see a woman running, and then turn and stop and put her hands up. And then all of a sudden, a large shape comes barreling through, a humanoid shape, with some sort of big club, and just takes her out. And you begin to hear, now that you're kind of focused and listening, you're hearing more screams and cries and yells. As you spend time now looking and kind of assessing the situation, you see more of these large shapes. You see smaller shapes, more goblins. It looks as if the town is under attack.
Well, this is not good.
What do we do?
Where are we taking this in the town? Do you know?
The town master we're supposed to deliver it to. It's in the center of town.
Well, I wonder if I should go in by myself and figure out where that is and see if and let them know that we're here. Do they still want this even though the town is under attack, or?
If you leave the cart, what's to say some of those goblins aren't going to find me and cut me to pieces?
That's true. I think we're just going to have to ride in.
Into the middle of town? In the middle of an attack?
I don't know what else to do. I mean, we can wait. We can wait out here.
And watch these people be slaughtered? There are no good options right now.
There really aren't.
As you sit there pondering your decision, you look down that same alley, you watch another man, this one, holding some sort of pickaxe in defense, get swarmed by like 4 goblins and just cut down in front of you.
This is not good.
Roll a stealth check for me.
Okay. 19.
A 19. As you're standing there watching, you feel like you're being quiet and hidden, and then all of a sudden you hear a snap of a twig from right behind you.
Can I see anything?
You whip around into the face of 2 goblins that have been sneaking through the woods, and with a natural 20 against your 19, spotted you. He comes at you with a scimitar.
Okay.
But that is a natural 2, so he misses. So despite him getting the drop on you, you parry that first strike out of the way. The second goblin comes in towards Cricket, and he hits with a 14 and does 4 points of damage and cuts Cricket across the back as he's trying to get down and get into a defensive stance.
I'm going to use Fighting Spirit.
Okay.
So I'll get 5 temporary hit points.
Yes.
And then I get advantage on attacks.
All right.
So I'm gonna hit the one that attacked me.
Okay.
And that is a natural 1.
Oof.
So that's
But you have advantage.
advantage on this one. So I've got that's a 21.
21 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right. 10 points of slashing damage.
You swirl your double-bladed scimitar and cut into him twice with it, and take that goblin right out.
Okay. And then I'm gonna use my movement to get to the next one, and maybe like flank Cricket.
Okay, yeah. So you'll get into flanking position, which will then give Cricket advantage, as Cricket pulls a short sword, and he hits with a natural 20 with advantage. Rolled a 13, then a 20, so nice work there. And that's going to be... Yep, that's enough. You come up behind the goblin and distract it, and as it kind of turns to like get in a beat on where you are, Cricket drives his short sword through the goblin's chest, and there's just a gurgle of blood as the goblin just falls over dead.
The longer we sit here, we're gonna get attacked. So I think I don't know what else to do.
Do we risk taking the cart around, or do we take it through the town?
We're gonna have to go through the town. This rough terrain is gonna mess up the wheels. So
Get in.
yeah. So let's get back on the road and head into town, I guess.
All right. The wheel is already cracking. So to get back there, Cricket's going to make a check. Okay. You begin to turn the cart around and drive it back. About halfway back to the road, all of a sudden you hear... And there's a huge thud, and that broken wheel breaks all the way.
Okay.
And there's such a jerk that the both of you get lurched. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. 7. So both you and Cricket go flying off of the cart. You're able to catch yourself on the horses and everything, and not take any damage on your way down. But you actually both get jettisoned off the front of the cart.
So once we kind of get back on our feet, I'm like, do we have any other wheels?
There's no other wheels, but help me cut the horses loose. He pulls a dagger and begins to cut the bridle and everything off.
Yeah, I'm gonna help him do that.
Okay. He cuts the horses loose and kind of gets them running off. He turns towards you and begins to speak. And all of a sudden an arrow comes whizzing by his head. It doesn't hit him, it misses. But it comes whizzing by his head back from that same direction where you had been previously attacked from behind. And he's like, run! And begins to tear off down towards the town.
Can I see where the arrow came from?
You see it was the direction that you were. Are you trying to perceive the actual enemy?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Just to see if there's like more than one. Or...
Yep. So instead of dashing, I'll say that you can run, but you use your action to stop and look real quick.
Okay.
If you do decide to run. So go ahead and roll a perception check.
16.
You see 1, 2, 3, 4 goblins coming out of the woods. And behind them, a larger figure, taller than most men, hulking, hairy, carrying a large club with him as he walks up behind these goblins.
Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna follow Cricket.
Okay.
Just gonna keep running.
You turn and run. The both of you bolt down towards the town as arrows continue to... You get down to the town level. And at this point, between what you had already backtracked and this dead sprint that you've made, you actually find yourself plastered against one of the outside buildings of the town. There is commotion going on inside. There are screams and cries and, loud battle roars from goblins and some deeper battle roars from creatures that you're not quite sure what they might be yet, as you haven't seen them well enough.
I'm gonna turn to Cricket. Do you think we should find the guy we're taking this stuff to?
We need to. Okay. I need to at least make it to him.
Okay, well, let's go. And I start to carefully as I'm coming around the corner, just making sure I'm not walking into a goblin or something.
Yeah, I will say go ahead and roll a stealth check. Cricket's gonna roll one as well.
Dang. 5.
Okay. All right. You begin to peek around corners. You literally almost come face to face with a goblin as you peek around the first corner. It is looking another direction, and you hit its peripheral, and you pull back just in time, and you hear something like... And then all of a sudden you see coming around... So you're at the corner of a building, and you see a shadow starting to curl its way back around the corner that you were behind. It's coming right around the corner towards you.
I'm just going to be ready to slam my scimitar into whatever comes around the corner.
Okay, so as this figure comes around the corner, being careful but not quite seeing you yet, I'm going to give you sneak attack on this, or advantage for it. So go ahead and roll an attack with advantage.
That'll be 20 to hit.
20 hits, go ahead and roll damage.
6 points of slashing damage.
Boom, you cut deep into it. It falls down to one knee, this goblin does, and then looks up at you, begins to pull a dagger to come up back at you. Cricket steps right in, and again, short sword right through the face, and takes the goblin out. You grab the body and pull it into the shadows, and you feel as if, after a moment, no one quite saw you yet.
Okay. I'm going to try to creep around the corner again.
Okay, make another stealth check.
10.
A 10. Okay, Cricket gets an 11. Let's roll perception for the goblins, shall we? Okay. You begin to creep your way through, building to building. Cricket kind of points out, we need to get down there in the center of town. And you do, kind of look, and it like many of the small towns, there's a lot of buildings on the outskirts, and then there's kind of like a communal circular area in the middle, where a lot of times there's a market, and most of the large buildings, the staples of the town, are going to be there in the center, and that's where he's pointing to. You begin to make your way building to building. You don't think you've been spotted, until all of a sudden you hear a behind you, and turn as another goblin is coming out from a corner that you passed by and didn't see him there out of your peripheral. And he makes an attack against you. That is a 12 to hit.
That does not hit.
Okay, so you parry the first strike, and then you get a strike back at him.
Okay. And that's a 23.
That hits. Roll damage.
That'll be 8 points of slashing damage.
Boom! This time you don't even need Cricket. You take this goblin out with one with a swift strike of your scimitar, and continue to move, just leaving the body in your wake.
How far are we from the place we're going? The center?
Moving slowly, you're probably 5 or 6 buildings away at this point. You're seeing the center, but you're still a little bit of a distance.
Is there anything along the side of any of these buildings and that could potentially be climbed to get on the rooftops?
Roll a perception check. I'll say perception or investigation, whichever one you want.
They're both bad. But that's a 19, so 18.
18, okay. You look, and indeed, not this building, but the next building over, you can see that there is essentially, windows with jutting out sills that you could potentially use as footholds and get up onto a roof.
Okay, I'm going to turn to Cricket. Cricket, do you think you could climb this building?
That is not my strong point, but I could try.
Let's go. Let's try it. So, yeah, I'm gonna try to climb up.
Okay, you sneak over there and begin to climb up. I'll say roll an athletics check or acrobatics.
Let's see, 15.
15. Not an issue for you. This is easy parkour. Cricket, on the other hand, is having a hard time. It's his height that's a problem at the moment. He can't get up enough to get a handhold to get up onto the roof.
As I'm maybe on the side before I've gotten all the way up, can I take my rope and just tie it around my waist and hand it down to him so I can help him, so he can help.
Yeah, no, with that, that is enough to help Cricket get up to the top. It takes you a couple extra moments, but you're able to get to the top. From here, you now have the best vantage point that you've had on the town since first hearing the disturbances. You look and see goblins just littering the streets. And you see walking amongst them, maybe one for every 20 goblins that there are, large brown-furred hulking creatures. Roll a nature check for me.
Okay. Nature. That is an 8.
You've heard of some sort of goblinoid creature that is much bigger and fiercer than goblins, but the name escapes you at the moment, and you're not quite sure what these things might be. But they also seem to be the ones barking out orders. They point, and goblins go that direction. And, a man tries to run, from the left with a pitchfork, and one of these big creatures just takes a club and crushes him. One stroke, just gone. They seem to be laying waste to the commoners who are doing their best to defend their town. But you're seeing, as you look around, different, it's no more than 3 at a time commoners and townspeople who have either barricaded themselves behind something or are trying to shoot arrows from a window. And you're just, within the span of 30 seconds, you watch one go down, and then 2 more, and then another. It's a losing battle. You see at one point, while a lot of the different little, 1 to 3, commoners who were trying to fight back are getting knocked out, you do see, off to the south of the town, you see a little grouping beginning. You see a lot of goblins starting to go down. You see one of these larger creatures get swarmed by the commoners, and it seems as if they're starting to realize that they need to focus their their troops, and they've begun to start pushing back against the goblin raiders. So you see that beginning to turn the tide just a little bit off to the south, but you have now made your way essentially to the roof of the town hall.
Is there any commotion happening right in that general area below?
You look around, and you do see one goblin and then another goblin go running by.
Okay.
And then there's a moment, and then all of a sudden you hear heavier footsteps.
I'm just gonna keep watching and see what happens.
Okay. You watch as one of these larger figures goes walking by. But it's even bigger than the rest. Broader shoulders, another head taller, carrying both a shield and a large club and some sort of cloak over its shoulders. Most of these creatures have been, loincloths and belts. This one's got some sort of cloak wrapped around his shoulders. And you watch as he stands there in front of the town hall and surveys everything going on with the townspeople beginning to rally back.
I think I'm going to go ahead and go down.
Cricket will go with you. Go ahead and roll a stealth check as you're now moving.
16.
Okay. You go down without any noise. Cricket follows behind you, and on the last couple of rungs, all of a sudden his foot slips, and he goes... And you both plaster yourselves against the wall, and then the firelight is obscured as a shape, hearing something from the alleyway, begins to make its way around the corner, trying to find out what the noise may have been.
I'm going to grab Cricket and run towards the back.
Okay.
And try to make my way around the back of the building to see if there's a door.
Okay.
Back door.
So you bolt down that direction. You're running just as it's turning the corner. I will say that it does see you, but you have already basically made your way all the way down to the back of the building by the time that this figure has a chance to react. So you bolt and you hear a kind of cry out after you, but you curl around the back of the building before it has a chance to attack or give pursuit or whatnot. You look, and there is not a back door per se, but there is basically a basement entrance.
Let's just see if it's unlocked. See if we can get in there.
You pull at it, and the wooden door gives a little bit, but it then sticks, and there seems to be some sort of small chain kind of holding it.
See if I can just crack it with my scimitar.
Okay, so go ahead and roll an attack.
With the scimitar?
Yeah, with the scimitar.
It'd be 21.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you hit it, no problem. So go ahead and roll damage.
Okay.
With its AC of like 5.
Yeah. So that's, let's see. 10 points of slashing damage.
10 points is enough. I'll say, yeah, you kind of cut down through the weak wood, break this little, tiny chain from the inside, and the door is then able to be flung open.
So... just gonna go in. I'm not too worried about goblins being inside
as you go in and pull Cricket with you, just as your head kind of disappears underneath and you lose sight of the town around you, you see that dark shape turn the back corner. You're not sure if he saw you go down or not, but the door is broken open. So
I'm just gonna head inside and not turn around, not wait.
You haul ass down into the basement of this town hall. It's some sort of storage room. There are no torches lit. There's, various boxes and whatnot. You have dark vision, correct?
Yeah,
okay.
I do.
You're able to see well enough to navigate. Cricket does not have dark vision. He is bumbling around and needing you to kind of help.
And I've kind of got him by the shoulder. I'm kind of like pulling him with me.
Okay. What little moonlight there was as you first went in is obscured. As you hear footsteps coming down the little stairway that you came down into the basement.
Okay.
There's a staircase on the other side that would go back up into, probably the first floor. And there's various, crates and boxes and shelving that you could potentially hide behind or use as cover here in this basement.
I'm gonna tell Cricket, let's hide. Let's just be quiet and hide behind these things.
Gotcha. So I need you both to roll stealth checks.
This is where it counts. Of course. 5. Dang.
And a 6 for Cricket. So the both of you dive behind some crates and go to get yourself hidden. And the crates that you dove behind tip over as you bumped them as you went behind. And you literally find yourself standing now 10 feet away from this large, imposing figure whose head just swivels and turns and looks in your direction. This giant, and it comes to you now, bugbear, standing there with a shield and a mace. And his face curls up into a smile and turns towards you.
I'm going to throw my hand axe at him.
Okay. I will say you're not surprising him, so as you go to pull the hand axe and throw it, let's roll initiative.
Okay. 10.
A 10. What is your dex bonus?
It is +2.
Okay, so is his, so I need a roll off. Straight
Okay.
D20. He got a 10 as well with a +2.
As an 8.
An 8. All right, so he beats you with a 15.
Okay.
And then Cricket, natural 20 for Cricket. Nice. He will pull his hand crossbow and loose a bolt. That is going to be a miss, though, as it catches on the shield of this creature. And he will then kind of just duck back and try to find some cover as best he can, although kind of in plain sight at this point. That brings us to the bugbear captain, who bashes his mace against his shield and roars at you and bull rushes you, bringing this large club up and down, trying to crush in your head. That is going to be a 15 to hit.
That hits.
You take only 7 points of piercing damage, as I rolled not so great on my damage die. So this comes down, and you block some of it a little bit with your scimitar, but you get just slammed in the head and the shoulder with this large mace. And you're like, holy cow, if this thing hits full force, this could be a problem.
I am going to use my fighting spirit again.
Okay.
So I have one more left after this.
Right. Describe what that looks like.
So I twirl my scimitar around, and I just like, and I get some extra health back, and then I take a swipe at him.
Okay, with advantage.
Yes. Didn't really need it, but that's fine. So I got, that would be a 23 to hit.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
22 to hit, sorry. And come on. That'll be 9 points of slashing damage.
9 points. All right. So you slash into him. You get a good cut into him. He kind of steps back a minute. But where normally that would have taken a goblin right out, he steps forward with a grin on his face and continues to brandish his weapon.
Okay.
That'll bring us to Cricket, who is going to attempt to hide and will not be able to do so, unfortunately. So he will just fire off. However, you're in melee, so natural 1 on the attack. Would have been sneak attack damage. So he pops up and goes to fire his crossbow again. However, he's trying not to hit you, and the bolt just, he shakes at the last minute and the bolt goes wide. He then ducks back out of the way to try to find some cover. That'll bring us to the bugbear. That is going to be, as he raises his club and brings it down again, that is a 16 to hit.
That hits. Couldn't have gotten the 1 on the bugbear.
That is going to be 12 points of piercing damage as one of the spiked edges of this club comes down and smashes into you.
Not good.
He then just continues to look at you, and the eye does turn towards the halfling who's been firing at him, and he kind of just, I'm coming for you next. And he speaks in common now as he looks over at Cricket.
I'm going to go ahead and use my other fighting spirit.
Okay.
my roar is not quite as enthusiastic this time, but yeah. So, and then gonna attack him again.
Okay.
2 19s.
All right.
So that, I'm sure
That hits. Yes, it does.
Okay. And another 9 points of slashing damage.
Okay. You slash into him again. You cut him deep. He steps back, looking pretty hurt now. Blood kind of coming out from the wounds. He grimaces at that one. You seem to have gotten him. However, he still comes back at you.
Okay.
He raises the club and brings it down again with a natural 20.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
24 points of piercing damage.
I'm down, but I have relentless endurance.
You do.
So I'm gonna use that, so I am not knocked out.
As you hit the floor and your vision begins to blur from you and you begin to go unconscious, you dig deep, calling upon both your fighting heritage and your half-orc blood, and will yourself back to 1 hit point, prone on the ground, as you look and see the heels of your enemy turn and begin to approach this halfling who was part of your charge of protection.
Okay. I'm gonna come up behind him, and would I be flanking him at this point, or is he not quite that far?
I would say roll a stealth check.
Okay.
I want to see whether or not he notices you getting back up.
15.
You stand to your feet, and you begin to approach him, and his eyes are just locked in on Cricket. He finishes his movement. You flank him. You have advantage.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and attack him. Not good. Not good. So it'd be a 13 to hit.
13 misses.
Yeah.
The cloak that he's wearing is surprisingly thick and heavy, and you expect to be able to just slash against him, and you come away with more fabric than anything else. It kind of obscured your shot, and you're still weak. He doesn't even turn to notice you, but Cricket pulls his short sword and stabs it up at the bugbear as he approaches to try and defend himself. He hits with a natural 18. Does 7 points of damage, and the bugbear grabs his side as this tiny halfling sword has stuck up through his ribs. He's not down, but he's looking really rough. That brings us to the bugbear, who raises his club and brings it down and hits with a 19 onto Cricket. You watch as the club comes down, cracks into Cricket's head and shoulder, and Cricket crumples to the floor, motionless. And the bugbear's head turns back towards you, and you just hear him say, "I thought I killed you already."
You're gonna have to do it again. And I swipe at him again with a 23 to hit.
That hits. Roll damage.
That was the lowest possible damage, but it's 5.
Gamorg, as you bring your scimitar up, saying that he'll have to kill you one more time, how would you like to kill your adversary?
I bring it up over my head, and I just as if I'm high enough, I don't know if I'm tall enough, but I'm gonna just try to go right into this guy's face.
You're a tall half-orc, and he still stands a little bit taller than you, but you do have enough reach to bring it up. And as he's turning and looking and grimacing and starting to form words for some other, haughty retort, the blade is just almost as if, a jump cut in a film, just there, right in his face. And all of a sudden you feel the weight of it as his legs buckle out from underneath him and he falls to the ground.
I'm gonna go over to Cricket and see if I can help him at all, stabilize him.
Okay. Roll a medicine check.
Not great. 5. Another 5.
Okay. You are unable on the first round to figure out what to do. There's so much blood. The wound is so large. You fumble trying to figure out what to do. Cricket fails his first death saving throw.
Okay.
You can roll another medicine saving or medicine check if you want.
Same roll.
All right.
Okay,
He
get
does the
different
bleeding.
dice.
He seems to be holding on. You hear breath just a little bit. He passes his second death save. So we can
Okay.
go again.
That is 12.
A 12. With a 12, you finally, after fumbling for a moment, find some rags and are able to kind of press the bleeding and stabilize him. He's not conscious, but he doesn't seem to have passed from his wounds yet. You don't know how long that might last.
Okay. I'm going to take some of the boxes that were stacked up and move them over to where he is so he's hidden behind the boxes.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go up the stairs into the town hall.
Okay. You make your way up and you open the door, and there's kind of a general room with a couple different tables. There's a jail cell on one side. It seems to be kind of like a multi-purpose type space for both law and order and general business. And because you're coming up from behind, you actually see cowered behind one of the desks a small gnomish man who is just kind of shaking, and he's got, kind of these long gray mutton chops, little spectacles at the end of his nose, and he's just kind of shaking and looking out over the corner of the desk, trying to see through the front door to see if anyone might be coming.
So so I don't scare this guy, I'm going to kind of like psst across the room
Okay.
to get his attention.
Yeah, you try not to scare him. He and like jumps and actually smacks his head against the desk a little bit and turns around. He's got this tiny dagger that you now see, and he just kind of like holds it in front of him.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm your friend. I'm Gmorg. I was the bodyguard for the shipment.
Where's Cricket?
He's down in the basement and he's hurt very bad. We need to get him help.
Does he have it?
The wagon is outside of town. We weren't able to bring it in.
Not the wagon. No, the note. The note.
I don't know. He's down there. I didn't ask.
He kind of runs past you and begins to down with his little feet. And you just hear a shriek as he comes down, and you look now, and he's like standing there, like freaking out over the huge dead bugbear that's in his basement as well.
Yeah, we killed that thing for you.
Thank you. And he kind of goes over and starts to, Cricket, friend, and begins to kind of like sort of gently try to like caress his hair or something, like, kind of like, brush the blood away and everything. But then immediately begins to like rummage through his pockets. And after a moment, all of a sudden you see him come out from the breast pocket with a little scroll. Very tiny little thing wrapped in some twine. He kind of... Okay. I hope this was worth it. Can you get him help?
I maybe. There's a lot going on in the town. Do you have any medicine, healing potions, anything?
I will do what I can. I'm not a healer, but I have a tonic or two upstairs that I use for myself from time to time. And he like listens, and you can hear more commotion happening. Just because this bugbear's dead doesn't mean that the fight is over yet. And he's like, "Can you help us?"
I can. I'm very hurt, but I would love to help you if I can get some kind of help for myself. I can go back out there.
I don't have any potions or medicine, but if you can help us in our time of need, good sir.
I have 1 point of I have 1 HP. I'm about to die, but I'll do what I can. What is this scroll that is there something there that can help us?
Not in this moment, but if this survives, it could help quite a number of people.
So I'm gonna, from the rooftop, I'm just gonna kind of survey what's going on down there in the center.
It looks as if the town people have been able to cut away some of the goblins. You see more of these bugbears that are dead. It's fairly evenly matched at the moment. And you see the goblins and the people, just engaged in a pitched battle. You can't quite tell who might win. But you have the goblins' backs. They don't know you're there.
How many are there?
You look and you see about 7 at the moment, and one other of these bugbears, not as big as the guy before, but the townspeople are already engaged, and you see them, they're hitting them, they're getting hit back.
Okay, and that's all the fighting is pretty much happening right now.
There's a skirmish or two happening. You can hear things, but it's hard to tell, and it seems as if most of it is congregated here.
Well, I'm gonna go back down and all the way down to the ground.
Okay, you rush your way down into the streets.
I'm going to run as stealthily as I can.
Okay.
Just straight towards these goblins' backs.
Okay, roll a stealth check.
10.
A 10? They don't seem to notice you. They're pitched in battle right now, and you make your way up to melee range if you want without any of them clocking you.
So I'm going to put my double-bladed scimitar on my back as I'm running, and then I draw my short sword and a hand axe and just, take off towards these guys.
Okay. You come up upon the first goblin, and this first one, I'll give you the attack, and then we'll roll initiative. So You'll get your attack with your first weapon, and your second weapon will be your bonus action.
Can I be in a spot where I could hit one with one attack and one with the bonus attack?
You can, yep.
Okay. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to hit the first one with my short sword. And that is a 23 to hit.
That hits. Roll damage.
That is 7 points of damage.
7 points. You take the first goblin down, and he falls and drops as he was standing there fighting one of the men across from him.
And then I'm going to swipe at the other one with my hand axe. And that is, I don't add the bonus to the damage, right?
Correct. You don't add the
the
bonus.
But the bonus to the attack, I can.
Correct. The to hit is the same, but the damage is just straight die.
I got you. Okay. And that's a 15 to hit.
That just hits.
Sweet. And then he takes 3 points of slashing.
3 points of slashing damage. That one doesn't quite go down, but you cut in against it, and you watch as, in that moment of it, shrieking and turning around to figure out where you are, this gnome across from it that he was fighting, pokes up with a wooden stake that he's fashioned into a spear, and right through the throat, and that goblin drops.
And then I'm going to just, hold my weapons up and be like, kill him, guys!
All right. The townsfolk, now seeing you kind of come in and take out 2 of their adversaries, rally a little bit, and they're going to make some attacks. Natural 20, natural 16, natural 2, natural 10, natural 20. So 3 of the 5 attacks will hit. 2 of the goblins that they attack, get poked and stabbed with something, but only take superficial wounds. 1 of the goblins that they were facing does go down. The goblins' turn. Some of them are going to continue attacking the townspeople. And one of them hits with a natural 20 and takes out one of the townspeople. They go down. The bugbear is also going to attack a townsperson and takes him out as well. So there are 4 goblins remaining along with a bugbear. There are 3 townspeople remaining as well, and you, and it is your turn. The bugbear is to your right.
I'm going to go left.
Okay.
And kind of position myself in between the 2 so I can get
so there's 2 more goblins on that side that you can go for.
Okay. I don't have any more of my bonuses. I use them all up, so I'm just gonna do an attack. So short sword first. That is an 11.
11 misses. You get in position and you swing wide over top of its head.
And then with the other one, the hand axe, that'll be an 18.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
That is 9 points of slashing damage.
Were you adding your bonuses? Because that's your offhand attack.
Oh, no, I didn't do that. So 6 points.
6 points of damage. That combined with the damage that it had already taken from the townsperson is enough to take it out. So one of the goblins is still in your face, but one of them is dead at your feet. That brings us back to the townspeople. The 3 remaining ones will take attacks. And one of the 3 hits. And does some damage to the bugbear. As they're trying to stab back at them with their makeshift weapons. That brings us to the goblins. The one facing off against you is going to attack. That is an 11, though. So I believe that misses.
That misses.
Okay,
yeah.
so he stabs towards you and misses you. The bugbear takes out yet another townsperson.
Jeez.
There are 2 townspeople left. Goblin misses and goblin hits. And a second townsperson is down.
I'm gonna attack, hopefully kill the other guy.
Okay.
It's 22
That hits.
with my short sword. And that is 6 points of piercing damage.
He's gone. 2
Okay.
goblins and a bugbear left.
Okay. Do I see any other townspeople around?
Make a quick perception check. I'll give this
Okay.
to you as a freebie.
Okay. 16.
16? Yeah. There's like 3 or 4 townspeople that are kind of scattered. 2 of them are engaged with a goblin, but they seem to like have it under control and like driving him to the ground. And another one has just killed a goblin off to the other side.
I'm gonna yell, help me kill the bugbear! And then, yeah, that's all.
Okay. Roll a persuasion check. I'll say with advantage.
Okay.
With advantage.
I don't think I have good. Oh, no, I have. Yeah, so that's 15.
15? Okay, we'll see what they do on their turn. That brings us to the townspeople. The ones that were within earshot do hear you and see that the tide is turning a little bit and that their one compatriot is now surrounded by many enemies and begin to rush that direction. They don't get attacks in, but they do manage to join the fray here on their turn using dash.
Cool.
All right, that brings us to the one townsperson who is left standing there. He hits a goblin. And good for him, he takes one of them out.
Nice.
So, maybe his last act, but he does take out a goblin. As now the last goblin attacks him and misses. The bugbear misses as well with a natural 2. So, the bugbear and the remaining goblin are distracted by all these other townspeople coming in, and they try to swing at the one they were trying to finish off and don't quite connect with him.
I'm gonna go straight for the bugbear.
All right.
And I'm gonna do both attacks at him. So starting with the short sword. Man. That'll be 13 to hit.
13 misses.
Yeah. And then with the hand axe, natural 20.
Natural 20. All right. So you won't add your bonuses, but you will double the die.
So that's 4.
4 points. Okay. Yeah. You get a good shot in with the hand axe. Not enough to down him, but he's already taken a good amount of damage from the rest of the combat, and he's looking pretty hurt. That brings us to the town people. They will begin their... And all 4 of them hit. Yep. That is enough to kill the last goblin and to bring that last bugbear. He's down to his last breath. He swings wildly on his turn, missing everybody with a natural 2. Just goes wide. And he's there now surrounded as you step up, Gamorg, and look him in the eye. And what do you do?
I'm gonna attack him. I got 2.
All right.
Surely I can do this. All right. So short sword is 21
That
to
hits.
hit, and that'll be 9 points of slashing damage.
9 points of damage. With that, as the townspeople are stabbing into and trying to bring this beast down that's been attacking their town that has slaughtered so many of them, you, Gamorg, step up and drive your short sword into him one last time, and this big foul beast just topples over. And everything goes eerily silent in the town as the shouting stops.
And I just like hold up my short sword and just hoo-ah!
Roll a charisma check for me.
That is 21.
21. Yeah, the whole town's like, yeah, and they begin to cheer and shout and joining with you in celebrating their victory. The town begins, after that moment of exuberance, the realization of the dead and the destruction of the little town of Drucaster is starting to sink in. This was a devastating attack and raid on their town, and they begin to pick through the dead. You hear the cries of people who are collecting, loved ones who have been slain.
I'm gonna go back into the town hall.
Cricket is sitting there, conscious. The little gnome is like got a little cup of tea that he's feeding him, and he's like, "There you go." And Cricket's like, "Yeah, thanks." And he sees you come in, and his eyes kind of meet yours. He's like, "You kept me alive."
Just barely.
Just barely. Thank you.
That's what I'm here for.
Is the town secure?
As far as I can tell, I don't think there are any more goblins or whatever those other things were. Bugbears.
You've done a good service. What I was carrying was important.
Is any chance I could find out what that is?
I'm afraid you haven't done that much of a service, sellsword. But I'll tell you what. I've got a friend named Jasper. It's a bit of a hike from here. He's down in the town of Ferrith, which is in what used to be Roderfell. But if you can make your way there, I'll send my recommendation, and he'll have plenty of work for someone with your capabilities.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you.
And I take out the fish that I was whittling and I throw it to him.
He catches it and he goes, "All right, you said it was an elephant?"
Well, it's actually a fish now. Yeah.
Oh. Sure. Hey, thank you.
No problem.
All right.
And I turn around and walk out.
In the middle of the night, without a trace, Gamorg leaves the town.
And tumbleweed goes across the
Yes, exactly.